Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm doing something I genuinely love this time of year, talking about a book series I want to focus on in 2026. Now normally I don't really make TBR videos, and if you watch my channel for a while now, you know I prefer reading in publication order and letting things unfold naturally. But because I'm reading a few very long series, I want 2026 to be a year of steady progress. This video is more of a roadmap than a strict list. I've divided this video into two parts. The first are the series I've already started and definitely want to continue and maybe even finish. And the second are the brand new series I want to begin next year, and in some cases finally start after years of putting them off. Alright, first the series I've already started. Let's begin with the Dark Tower series by Stephen King. Now I've only read the first novel, this one, The Gunslinger, but I'm also reading some tie-ins within his larger multiverse along the way, like Salem's Lot and The Eyes of the Dragon. And now I understand a little more why the series has such a strange, almost mythic status among King fans. There's something about the tone, that weird mixture of western, horror and alternate timelines, that shouldn't work, but it absolutely does. And I feel like I'm only scratching the surface so far. Now people say books 3, 4 and 5 are where the series really blossoms. So for 2026 my goal is to properly enter the Dark Tower journey. Now Stephen King took a long time to write the series, about 20 years, so I'm also taking my time with it. And what I really love going into this is that it doesn't feel predictable. Every chapter feels like it could go anywhere, which is pretty refreshing when you read a lot of fantasy. So yeah, The Dark Tower is a major 2026 priority. The second series is The Legend of the Galactic Heroes by Yoshiki Tanaka. Now this is one of those series where I'm reading it and thinking, how does something this dry still manages to be so compelling? Tanaka's style is very strange. It reads like a chronicle, a historic chronicle, but then he'll throw in a line that just cuts emotionally. Now I've only read the first 3 novels so far, with the latest being Endurance, and even though the rating wasn't super high for that one, at least to me, what keeps me going is the dynamic between the two main characters, Reinhardt and Yang Wen Li. And even early on, you can tell the entire saga revolves around these two geniuses on opposite sides of a galactic conflict. One thing I appreciate is how every decision feels political. Every chapter shows how empires rise and fall, not because of destiny or magic, but because of people. Their ambitions, their failures, their pettiness and their brilliance. And for 2026 I'd love to get deeper into the heart of the series. I'm not planning to speed run the whole thing. The pacing deserves time. But if I can get far enough to see the major turning points people always talk about, I'll be satisfied. And the other series I'm currently reading is the Rift War Cycle by Raymond E. Feist. Now to me this has been such a pleasant surprise this year. It's very classic, very accessible and honestly just fun. Sometimes you really need a straightforward adventure to balance out the heavier stuff. Vice world feels familiar in the best way. Elves, magicians, kingdoms, portals, war. But what keeps me engaged is how clean the writing is. There's a very smooth flow to these books. The plan is to finish the original Riftward trilogy this year and dip into the next sub-series, the Empire trilogy, next year. This series is turning into my palate cleanser series, something I can pick up when I need a break from huge, sprawling doorstoppers. Alright, now on to the new series I want to start reading next year. The first one is the Vorkosigan Saga by Louis Bujold. This one has been sitting on my I really need to read this list for years. I keep hearing that Bujold is one of the best authors when it comes to character-driven science fiction. And what appeals to me is how flexible the series is. It's not one giant linear epic, it's a combination of novels and novellas that explore different aspects of the same universe. Some are action heavy, some political, and some more personal. I'll be starting with Swords of Honor, since I'm sticking to the publication order, and I'm really excited to see what makes this series such a beloved cornerstone of sci-fi. Another series is Lilith's Brood by Octavia Butler. Now, I've been wanting to read Butler for a while now, and Lilith's Brood seems to be, for me, a logical step. Everyone says this series is weird, unsettling, and thought-provoking, which is exactly what I want from science fiction. What fascinates me is how biological and psychological the premise is. It's not about space battles or empires, but about humanity itself. Survival, evolution, and the ethics of change. My goal is to read at least Dawn, the first book, but if I like it, I'll probably go through the whole trilogy. Next up is the Culture series by Ian M. Banks. This series feels like a rite of passage for science fiction readers. I keep seeing people argue about the reading order, but for me that's not really an issue, since of course I'm reading it by publication order, and that means I'll begin with Consider Phlebas. I'm expecting big ideas, complicated societies, morally questionable AIs, and that blend of dark humor and philosophy that Banks is known for. It's a big universe, but I think it will balance nicely with the other sci-fi I'm reading next year. Next up is some more fantasy with Memory, Sorrow and Thorn by Ted Williams. This is the fantasy series I'm most excited to finally start. Everyone says that the pacing is slow but incredibly rewarding. It's a world you live in rather than rush through, which reminds me a lot of The Lord of the Rings. And I also keep hearing that George Martin was heavily inspired by Ted Williams, which makes me even more curious, as the song of Ice and Fire is one of my favorite series. I want to begin with the Dragonborn chair next year, and if I love it, I'll continue from there. But this might be one of the longer term projects, but I'm ready for it. Next up is The Legend of Drizzt by R.A. Salvatore, which is something lighter. After reading a lot of denser fantasy and political sci-fi, I want something fast and fun. And Drizzt seems perfect for that. Everyone says these books are action-packed, emotional in their own way, and surprisingly heartfelt once you get attached to Drist and his companions. This is not a series I plan on binging. I just want the first book as a dip into the Forgotten Realms. Next up is The Deed of Paxenarion by Elizabeth Moon. This is one of those fantasy classics people recommend when you want a story about an honorable character growing into a hero. What sold me is that people call it a paladin campaign in novel form. And honestly, that sounds like something I'm going to love. It feels like a grounded, character-driven epic with a strong focus on duty and moral choices. And I'd love to at least read the first book next year. And finally, the big one, The Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan. This series has become one of the big fantasy series to read over the last few decades. The Wheel of Time has been sitting on my shelves in spirit for years, and 2026 is the year I'm finally starting. I'm ready for the world building, the cultures, the prophecies, the dramatic speeches, the madness, and the pattern, all of it. Now I know this is a huge commitment, so I'm not pretending I'll read the whole series. My goal is simple: read the Eye of the World and decide if I'm ready for the journey. Now I believe there are 14 novels in total, so enough to look forward to. And what makes it extra special is that it is one big story, where other bigger fantasy series tend to divide their stories into smaller sub-series. Now everyone seems to have strong opinions about the series. Some love it, some struggle, and I'm excited to see where I land. So that's my plan for 2026. A mix of classic sci-fi, foundational fantasy, long epics and a few lighter series to balance things out. I'm not expecting to finish all of these, that's not the point. The point is to set a tone for my reading year and lean into the series that excite me the most. Let me know in the comments which of these series you've read and which ones you think I should prioritize. And if you have your own big reading plans for 2026, I'd love to hear them too. Thanks for watching, and until next time.